Hello, I'm Dr. Gloria Kaye. I'll be talking to you about ways that you can help your children energetically. We'll be looking at diseases of childhood up to the teen years. Most recently, I had an interesting experience with an infant. This poor little baby wound up in the ER several times. The ER docs could find nothing wrong and had no idea why this baby was in such pain. I interviewed the mother and the baby and realized that there was a problem with the food. Now, Mom was still breastfeeding, and as it turned out, the baby had strong sensitivities to what Mama was eating. So once we cut out onions and garlic and tomatoes, the baby began to thrive and no more pain. So when you're considering issues with infants, colicky babies particularly, please consider what Mama might be ingesting. If the baby is not being breastfed and you have a formula, try to avoid soy-based products. These can be very problematic, and one just doesn't know. If you're dealing with a colicky baby, have the baby on your lap and place your hand over the navel and just hold. Again, patience and loving kindness is very important. So one hand can be where the navel is and the other hand can be on the back. The intestines wrap around the back, and so when you're dealing with a baby, you want to infuse both the intestines and the front part of the baby. Try to avoid soy-based products. These can be very problematic, and one just doesn't know. If you're dealing with a colicky baby, have the baby on your lap and place your hand over the navel and just hold. Again, patience and loving kindness is very important. So one hand can be where the navel is and the other hand can be on the back. The intestines wrap around the back, and so when you're dealing with a baby, you want to infuse both the intestines and the front part of the baby. I'd like to also make note that there is a homeopathic remedy put out by Highland for colic. If your baby is colicky, please consider going to a health food store and ask for the remedy put out by Highland. That's the manufacturer, and it's just for colic. Moving on to issues with newborns. Please identify any irregularities in the skull. So you can do this by placing your hand on the skull and looking to see where there might be a high side. This is important because when the baby comes out of the birth canal, it can be quite traumatic. And these irregularities in the skull can manifest in learning disabilities, later in life depression, and all kinds of issues that are difficult to identify. But the more balance there is in the skull, the better chance the baby has of thriving. And now we'll talk about toddlers. What are some of the issues that toddlers have? Well, potty training can be a big issue. Toddlers may balk at the idea of potty training. Be very gentle when you make this approach. Have your baby seated on a little potty seat. And again, if you just place your hand on the navel, this can relax the body and maybe be productive. The toddler you're now viewing also had a digestive complaint. He was not thriving and had projectile vomiting. Again, the doctors were stymied about how to deal with this issue. And when I say that the baby was not thriving, this was not an exaggeration. He could keep no food down. So energetically, again, I worked on the navel area, moving up to the chest and to the throat area. My suspicion was that there was some irregularity in the throat area. I successfully infused the entire body with energy, and the projectile vomiting ceased. You can see that he is absolutely thriving now and has had no more digestive complaints. This photo of this delightful little girl running on the beach was a miracle. She lost her ability to walk after she received the childhood immunization shots. I'd like to talk to you about the way you can ease congestion and sinus issues. And this relates to children from infancy all the way up to teens, and it's also applicable to adults. So I'm going to talk to you about some sinus points that you can infuse. And the first one that I will demonstrate is just below the cheekbones. So if you hold here, you'll find that the sinuses can release. So you continue to hold until you feel a softening under your fingertips. Another good area is right by the sides of the nose. And if you'll go to the eyebrows, mid-eyebrows, you'll find a slight indentation. So just hold gently until you feel a softening. All right. And of course the temples. The homeopathic remedy that you might want to consider is Calimure and Natmure. If the mucus is clear, please go to the Natmure. That's Natmur. If it's yellow, please go to the Calimure. Kalimur. And this is available at most health food stores. I'm going to show you some very interesting sinus points. These are actually located on the hands. So you can take your little one and just gently press the sides of the fingers and see if you feel a thickening. Where you do feel a thickening, you need to hold until that softens. And this helps to open the sinuses. So I'm just going to demonstrate that. And do each finger, and you'll see that the runny nose will cease, and you'll have a much happier child. And what an easy intervention. You just hold and play with the fingers. So again, this is good for children. It's also good for adults. And do each finger, both hands. And again, you'll feel a thickening. It's on either side of the nail bed. Both hands. I'd like to share one of my favorite interventions. It's not an energetic intervention, it's just a home remedy. So I'd like to talk to you about ginger compresses and how this can help with coughs and sinus issues. Again, this is not just for children. You, as an adult, may one day want to experiment on yourself. So I'm giving you a recipe now. 1 quart of very, very hot water. 2 heaping teaspoons of ginger. And this can be pre-ground ginger. Dissolve the ginger, And once that's dissolved, dip a wash rag in the pot, wring it out, and place it either on your face for sinus issues or on your chest. And again, this is fine for wee ones too. Be very careful with the temperature on a young child. The sensitivity of a young child will certainly be different than an adult. Another home remedy which you might find very useful is the following. For issues of constipation, again, this is for children as well as teens and adults. We all know about prune juice and how that can affect constipation. I would like to suggest to you that you change the formulation and do the following. Take 4 ounces of prune juice and 4 ounces of hot water and slowly sip this. For some reason, and it's time tested, heating the prune juice and diluting it in this manner gets very good results. I hope that you found this presentation useful. As you probably know, I have a soft spot in my heart for children. So may I encourage you to contact me directly if you have any questions regarding anything that I've presented, or if you're having a particularly difficult problem with a child. Please feel free to contact me.